This is the Washington Times front page for Monday, October 10th, 2022. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm George Gerbo. Special counsel John Durham begins what is expected to be his final act Tuesday with the trial of Russian analyst Igor Danchenko. Jeff Murdoch reports Danchenko was a prime source for a discredited dossier of unverified claims tying former President Trump to Russia. That also helped spur the FBI's investigation of Trump's presidential campaign. Durham has prosecuted 3 people, including Danchenko. He brought charges against former Hillary Clinton campaign attorney Michael Sussman, who was acquitted of lying to the FBI, and former FBI lawyer Kevin Kleinsmith, who pleaded guilty to doctoring an email and struck a deal that resulted in no jail time. Florida Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo released guidance over the weekend that the benefits of mRNA-based COVID-19 vaccines for men younger than 40 are outweighed by their dangers. The guidance, Matt Delaney reports, was based on an exit analysis of vaccine safety conducted by the State Department of Health. The self-controlled case series analysis found that men ages 18 to 39 experienced an 84% increase in the relative incidence of cardiac-related death within 28 days of vaccination. Reactions to the findings were a mix of celebration from those who bristled at vaccine mandates and pointed criticisms by those who took a deeper look into the Florida Department of Health's methodology. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention conducted a study in April comparing cardiac-related outcomes for those who did and did not receive the vaccine. The CDC recommends that everyone 6 months and older be vaccinated against COVID-19, but has said the risk of developing myocarditis is lower in those who wait longer between their first and second doses. Former President Trump ordered the withdrawal of U.S. forces from Syria in October 2019. 3 years later, the nation has quietly become one of the U.S. military's hottest and most dangerous war zones. Fewer than 1,000 U.S. troops are stationed in Syria, Pentagon correspondent Ben Wolfgang reports, but those men and women have come under repeated drone and rocket attacks from Iran-backed militias. That's prompted regular retaliatory strikes. What's more, U.S. forces carried out 2 major attacks on Islamic State leaders hiding in Syria last week. It was the latest in a string of missions to take out high-value terrorist targets who sought sanctuary and viewed the country as a fertile recruiting ground for jihadists. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find the entire lineup of Washington Times news, commentary, and sports podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. China's Communist Party Congress is poised to grant Chinese President Xi Jinping an unprecedented third term, despite a slowing economy and mounting domestic unrest over his zero-COVID health restrictions. Bill Gertz analyzes Xi's time in power. While his power grows, so do the challenges he faces. China's once burgeoning economy is in decline under his policies, and growth is far below the heady rates of the previous 3 decades. The once hot Chinese real estate market is also facing a serious correction, its currency is sharply devaluing, and several cities have experienced runs on banks. A newly revealed migrant smuggling case out of Massachusetts is shedding light on several holes in the U.S. immigration system. Stephen Dinan reports the Brazilian man accused of orchestrating the smuggling bragged about how easy it was to game the system. He said he paid close attention to the changes at the border to know where to send his clients and what to tell them to say to gain a quick release. In one conversation with an informant that federal agents recorded, he pointed to the importance of sending migrants to the border with children because it means they would almost certainly be set free rather than being blocked at the border. And finally, national politics reporter Seth MacLachlan visits Arizona to profile Republican Senate candidate Blake Masters. Masters says he's prepared to shut down the government to force President Biden to reverse course on his border policies. The 36-year-old venture capitalist is facing off against Democratic incumbent and former astronaut Mark Kelly. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.